on this weird ship that nobody's been on before.
Yeah.
It's the cruise ship to we don't know where. Although I think I do know where. 2 months from now, going to be bigger opportunities than ever. And so.
Well, and I think that we see people kind of falling into two main categories right now. People that are just losing their shit, panicking,
Yep.
and the people that are buckling down and starting to strategize on how
Yep.
to figure this out. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. And people are panicking with good reason. But the problem is what we focus on is where we head. We get what we focus on. And so we have to be very, very careful for physiological reasons, mental reasons, emotional reasons, subconscious reasons to really focus on where we want to go, where we want to be, instead of where we think it's all going. So.
Yeah, and with the echo chamber of the media speaking out all the rhetoric of, I mean, it is a safety concern, but it's also
absolutely
a big fear. Invokes a lot of fear in people, and I call fear the mind killer.
Yes.
It definitely it changes the way that people think. And even when I was out and watching people as a dog trainer, we all work with behavior, and so I find people's behavior fascinating. I don't get the toilet paper. I don't get it.
I was reading something. It was really interesting, actually. They said sometimes people need something, if it's big and tangible, which is like a big old thing of toilet paper is big and tangible, they feel safe. And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes odd sense. Psychologically, it is not logical.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it is some sort of an odd survival technique.
Well, honestly, I almost was like, I'm going to get us a couple packs. I didn't need them, but just automatically, you like that law of scarcity, the FOMO, the fear of missing out.
It's the sheep thing. We're like, they're doing it, maybe I should too. Yes, people are saying it's about control. Yeah, it's all about control. But the thing about control, folks, is don't buy into the collective idea that it's about someone else trying to control us. We have to control us. We have to control our reactions. We have to control what we do going forward in the moments of each day.
That's right. And that is the only person that you really can control.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm sharing this right now, and anybody who's watching this, if you wouldn't mind hitting that share button, we got plenty of people that are home right now.
That's true. That's true.
Shouldn't be any reason that we don't have a large audience joining in, and we're going to be covering some really good stuff that I think will put people's minds at ease, and maybe give them an opportunity to look at this in a different way. As an opportunity instead of a big calamity that's going to destroy their business or their livelihood.
Well, so depending on what kind of business people have, I work with a lot of pet care facility owners, and overnight boarding has just tanked overnight. Most places, not all. I'm hearing from people all over the country, and some are reporting not that big of a deal, and many are reporting it is a big deal. So in the immediate right now, it is very scary for many people because you've got labor dollars going out. You've got to figure out what are you going to do with your people? How do you lay them off properly? What are the proper details around any of this? The government doesn't even know right now. They've got very competing information going on. And so I'm recommending a lot of really small, I've got a paid group of committed people, and we're recommending some very simple details or steps to take in their life immediately to mitigate some of this damage. And one of the things that I told people, I think last week, was talk to your bankers. If you have loans out for anything, even personal mortgage loans, anything, talk to your bankers. And one of my clients reported back literally like 10 minutes before this phone call started that they talked to their personal banker for their mortgage, and their bank, it's a local bank, but I would recommend everybody talk to any banker you have. The bank has decided to allow them to just pay interest only on the mortgage.
Okay.
That's unheard of. It's not in the contract, not in the terms. The banks don't want these loans to default either. And so there's a lot of stuff where it looks like on paper, nobody's going to budge on anything. They're actually going to have to budge. So it's one small step that I recommended and people are looking at right now, and bankers are actually coming back and saying, yes, we're actually going to be able to work with you, which is unbelievable and unprecedented.
And pretty daunting if anybody doesn't know this. And what you're going to find out, and this is what is unique about this situation, folks, is that we're all in this boat together.
All of us. Yep.
And when I told my wife that, reminded her that it's everybody. It's not just us. It helped her kind of realize, okay, cool. This is something that we can work together cooperatively on and figure it out.
Absolutely. Because like my ideas are only my ideas. Other people may have incredible ideas. This is like a crowdsourcing of ideas and then going out and trying them out and seeing what works and then reporting back in on what is actually working.
Beautiful. We got a bunch of people joining us here. We have
awesome.
Elizabeth says, wait, how do I? My thing is goofing off.
Some great comments, Linda. When the gun turret's preparing for the zombies.
There we go. I wonder why it's not. It's like scrolling down. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now I see. Here we. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Valerie. They just started another round of the NAPOPO Silver School down in Missouri today, so I want to say hello and good luck to all the Silver School students. Way to go, and way to be always learning and honing your craft here. And control, everybody's saying it's all about control. Yeah, I mean...
That's why I said who do we... Yeah, it can be about control, but who do we have control over?
Ourselves.
Ourselves always.
That's right. And they're being told to stock up for a month, that's all. Yeah, that's a little bit short-sighted, I believe. Evening, folks. Evening, Linda, from the East Coast there. When you can't control the scare, you can control the hoarding. It's a survival method of the brain. Okay. That's
very, very true. It was a good one, Valerie.
I'm moving the gun turrets, preparing for the zombies.
Hey, Linda!
Love Linda, the tank there. Target practice under your belt. Look good, my friend. Thank you, Joni. Hey, thanks for doing this. Of course, that's Jason Cohen, president of the IACP, and I pray that the IACP conference goes on this year. It seems like it's a little bit after the main effect of this, but we just have to see. We're just gonna have to see. Bill, your hair is looking great. Thank you, Em. I combed it today. I actually did some stuff here. Kirsten says, hi, Bill and Sherry. And I know that Kirsten, so you're really quick, give people a synopsis of what you do. You're a business coach. You help a tremendous amount of people realizing things that they might not know.
Yeah. I work specifically right now. I work with people outside of the dog industry as well. But the majority of my clients are within the dog industry. So owners of pet care facilities, daycare, boarding, and or training. Many of those companies don't have training in and are not doing it properly, even if they do, but that's an aside. And then I also work with dog trainers, and a lot of the people I work with have team on board already. I specialize in helping them get their teams actually doing what they're supposed to do with vim and vigor.
Heart and soul.
Heart and soul, absolutely. And I work with people privately, I work with people in groups, work with them in all sorts of ways. And what is happening right now is affecting all businesses across the board, but especially service businesses. And so restaurants, bars, just anybody who's dealing with the public face-to-face in any manner, and things are imploding right and left. But there are some ways to sort of make the hemorrhaging. You can't really make the hemorrhaging stop, but you can cause it to bleed a little less. Because we can't control what anybody else does, right? We can't make them come to daycare. We can't make them continue to pay for their dog walks.
Well, we can, but you have to really like that's coercion and your gun turrets and all that stuff. But not now. I mean, everybody. I'm in the group of people that I've lost $6,000 worth of reservations this month alone.
Yeah.
People just canceling month-long trips, the spring breaks. And so I'm not, I know I'm not unique.
Yeah, but it still hurts. Even though you're not
it's scary.
unique,
too.
it hurts and it's scary. So anything that was tied to a travel plan has likely been canceled. Even people, I have a client who they booked a boarding stay with her because they were like, okay, the kids are home, let's just go to the beach. So they were going to do a boarding stay over this last weekend, and their hotel called them and said, no, don't come.
Mhm.
So completely, like, the client wanted to board their dog, and I guess they still could have, but they really, people, when they're home, they kind of want their dog with them.
Yeah.
And so the fallout is sort of insane. And Valerie said, everyone, it is hurting everyone. I mean, everyone. Yeah. My brother opened a wine bar in October. They're going to get closed down, right? So, but they've created a contingency plan. They're allowed to do a closed bottle delivery. And so he had been gathering email addresses, which if you guys are not gathering email addresses, you should have started, but we're not going to beat that horse, or that's a terrible thing to say. We're not going to beat that drum. We're just going to say start gathering as soon as possible. And he's already got orders coming in for delivery to people's doorsteps.
Yeah.
So, you've lost all of your daily dog walking clients, which is your core business. I'm so sorry.
Okay, let me get into this. So, because I know that there's people that are freaked out, and I really want to address, and maybe we have a Google Doc too. We're going to take some notes here, possibly. But Julie has the first question here, and Julie is she was the one who tagged me yesterday about having somebody on to maybe talk about this very subject. So thank you, Julie, for doing that. And she has a question about, she's reached out to Parks and Recreation for group classes and possible workshops. How can we implement price upgrades to supplement income?
So Julie, that's a really wonderful initiative. And what I've been reading is a lot of Parks and Recs are shutting down for the who knows how long, because anything that they are seen as promoting as a group activity is going to be curtailed, and they're also a government entity. And so if you have an existing client base, anybody, I would reach out to them somehow through Facebook group that you already have, through your email, through however you're already communicating with them, even if it means picking up the phone or sending text messages. Like this, you have to get into this, and it's a little intense. I recommend reaching out to them and offering to take some of the stuff off of their hands. Right now, it's too soon in this, and they're probably not, they don't think they're going to need dog walking. Give them one more week with their kids and spouse at home with the dog. And what do you think is going to happen to the average American? They're going to be like,
this dog needs to be trained.
This dog needs to be trained. So I'm telling everybody who has a training business, do not stop offering dog training. People are booking. Like there's one of my friends locally in Torino, and she's an amazing dog trainer. She's my pet sitter, and she's my buddy now. She just instituted a 1 week board and train for one command, recall. Loose leash walking, $8.95. She's booked 5 people in the middle of this mess.
Okay.
For 1 week. Now, a lot of people are like, I don't do a 1 week board and train. I don't care. You didn't used to do a 1 week board and train, but you might now. Like everything that you may have been poo-pooing over the years, stop it. You're going to I'm just going to hold your head here and go, stop it. We have to get creative. I have, there are so many ideas. I have a client who has already instituted this. People talk about online programs. I want to do an online dog training program. Great idea, except how the hell are you going to implement that? She has reached out to her entire client base and said, for $20 a month, private Facebook group, we will do a video every 3 days. It's a short video, 5 minutes, every 3 to 4 days of enrichment activities you can do with your dog at home. Should 22 people sign up the first day she offered it? So that's $440 a month coming in. And guess what? Those people are probably going to continue that down the road.
Yes.
So if you do not have a database developed in a computer somewhere, if you've got your people's names on paper, I don't care where they are, you don't even have to get them into the database yet, even into an Excel sheet or a Google sheet or whatever. If you don't have that yet, this is a great time to get that going and get into some monthly SaaS, software as a service, monthly something. But if you don't have the money, put it on a free Google sheet and then start contacting people manually. If you do have them in a system, you can automate information out to them. She's also instituted a new program is everywhere schools are shutting down. So kids are home and parents are home and they're not used to this all the time. Like in the summer, they have programs they can send them to.
Right.
And usually there's a parent. No, you can't send them anywhere. So she's also put in a completely separate private Facebook group, which is around, and I know there's a lot of questions. I'm going to look at those in a minute.
Yeah,
around things to do with your dog, with your kids and your dogs while they're home. She's charging money for this, a little bit, $20 a month.
Yeah.
And she's going to do a video with teaching them. And she has an 8-year-old, but you could maybe borrow an 8-year-old or not. It's okay.
Borrow an 8-year-old.
People have them. Yeah. So grab somebody's kid if you're allowed, or not. If you have access, it's better because people are when they see a child, they can. But anyway, she's setting up things to do with your dog. She's doing a video teaching them one thing. And then her rules are in the comments below. Post your video of what you did with the dog. So for engagement, right? And then she will comment back on that. So Facebook groups are free. There's no need to go out and buy into a program. There's no need to set up a big online membership site anywhere right now. You can absolutely move all of this stuff over later, because I want you all to think about what you're doing is creating the idea of my word's gone. So you create something once and then you reuse it. No, you
repurpose.
Thank you. Repurpose.
All right.
You create something once and then reuse it, because you can reuse all of this for some sort of a deeper online program later that you can sell to your community and beyond. But right now, let's rely on free. Let's rely on things you can do. So she's probably going to have an extra $1,000 a month very quickly coming in just on this. Does that cover her nut? No, she's got a big facility and 40 employees. No, it does not cover her nut. But it starts the concept of building something right now that you can actually continue building into the future. That's super simple. And you already have this knowledge already. You're teaching it to people one-on-one or in group classes. Now you can teach it to bigger people, and the word of mouth will get out. People are going to be bored out of their gourds.
I mean, the good thing about this, and I like looking at the benefits of stuff, is like, look at all of this entertainment that we have at our fingertips. I saw a post about when our grandparents were called to the war, and we're just told to sit at home and watch Netflix. I think we can handle it.
Right? Like it's a crisis, but it's weird. Yeah, we're not losing our sons.
I feel like I think that it's a bifurcation of something greater. I really do, man. And I think that this is what's going to happen, is people kind of take an introspective time to figure out what's really important in life. And what they'll find out is that relationships are important, and including the relationship with your dog.
Yes, 100%.
And so when you first started, you said to do immediately, talk to your bankers if you're in debt. Would you say that number 2 would be to reach out to your clientele?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So communicate with your clientele regularly on social media, privately through emails regularly. You want to let them what's going on. You want to be pretty transparent. So I just got off right before our call, Bill. I got off a call with a man who connects people through business, and there were 5 8-figure earners on there. Then that's $10 million a year or more. And they have multiple, like crazy, incredible entrepreneurs. And what they were talking about was creating community, keeping the community going, what you just said. And how you do that is by communicating with your community and expanding your community. But they also said, so it seems counterintuitive, but true leaders in their businesses are authentic and transparent about what they're going through. People connect with that, and then they want to be a part of your world. So we cannot put on the facade of things being perfect. Everybody knows nothing's perfect right now. It wasn't perfect before.
Right.
By any stretch.
But it was easier to pretend it was.
A whole lot easier to pretend it was. And so by keeping the communication going on, let's say your Instagram, your Facebook, getting a little brave, I'm telling this to myself because I'm not a person to show up on video. I have done one Facebook Live on my own feed, and it was all I could do to turn the camera around and face it somewhere else. So getting over yourself, including me, and talking to people is they're going to be home. What else are they doing? They're going to get tired of Netflix. They're going to get tired of construction paper and scissors. They're going to want to connect with people. And
Yes.
so,
and restaurants are closed. Wineries are closed.
Yeah.
Breweries are closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, I can't even believe it, man. People are afraid to go in public, period. That's what Linda says.
Yeah, they are. And but not all of them. So my friend locally has 15 people showing up for a hike on Friday, a dog hike. And she's already told them up front, we're going to follow the rules. Like, okay, the president just said more than 10 people can't gather at a time. I highly don't think the police are going to go after a group of 15 people who are standing 10 feet apart, right?
It's a recommendation. It's not a...
And so it is a recommendation. And so, but she's got 15 people showing up. She's not going to charge for this walk, but she's going to talk to all of them and say, do you want to do this regularly? They're going to say yes. And she's going to say it's $10 drop in. And I bet you all of them do it.
Yeah.
And so there's many things that we can do, but we can't do it when we hide away and stop communicating. The other piece, so I talked about banks. Let me go back to, we don't know if we've been talking, my colleague and I have been talking deeply with different insurance companies because we're trying to get to the bottom of whether they'll cover a business loss or not. Nobody knows yet. It depends on what your insurance is. And I'm doing a summit with her and many other people I'm going to be interviewing who are experts in different areas of things in life in general, but mostly to do with business, about details. But we're working on one agent right now because they're really hesitant to come on and be public, but just to say, hey, can you walk people through their insurance policy?
Yeah,
like, find this information because it's 89 pages of the smallest writing you've ever seen. And so, but I also have a feeling things are going to shift. Like the banks who normally would not ever say, yeah, you can go down to an interest-only mortgage for 6 months or whatever. I have a feeling things are going to shift. So keep on my timeline if you want. I'm going to have a wait list, but it's all going to be free. I don't care if you opt into my list or not. This information just has to get out there. But there's other things happening. Like, is the SBA loan relief going to be available or not? They say it is, but nothing's been declared a disaster yet except Texas. They have to, the government of a state or county, Washington has declared a disaster or an emergency?
Emergency.
It's not a disaster.
Oh, wait, has it? I can see. Hold on. I'll tell.
Please check.
They're checking. I mean, they're doing it every single day.
So in order for the SBA, this is the thing. It changes minute by minute. For those SBA relief loans to kick in at super low interest, it has to be a disaster in the county or the state. And that has to go through from this county to the state, from the state to the feds, and then back. And so there's a process all of this has to go through. So what we're recommending to people who have employees right now, and I'm sorry, I see a lot of questions here. I want to get to all of them.
We will.
But I'm chit-chatting. Not really. So what the insurance agents that my colleague has talked with have said so far, it is, if you do not have your numbers from the previous year for the month and the day, you need to go back and get that. Even if it's on paper somewhere, in QuickBooks, on a flipping receipt on who knows, PayPal, whatever.
Bank statement.
If you have to take, so if you can get your 2 things, maybe 3, dog numbers, I'm trying to count, dog numbers per day that you had in, per service.
Per day, per service.
Per day, per service.
Boarding versus daycare versus
boarding
grooming.
Versus daycare versus grooming versus training, whatever, versus dog walking versus pet sitting. Whatever it is you're doing in the dog world. Start documenting that from last year. So January 1 of 2019, because they're going to want to see a difference. They know it's different, but they have to have the data. You can be as frustrated as possible with it, but you'll get further faster if you gather the data. You might as well have this data anyway, because I'm going to tell you, this is going to sound harsh. You are a business owner. Your numbers matter.
Yeah. I mean, it tells you, it's a checkpoint of where you're at, where you're headed, where you're, if you're growing, if you're dying. I mean, that's a business. That's 2 things. You're growing or you're dying.
Are you growing or you're dying? And so while it may feel like you're dying right now, We've got to get really creative. There are ways to keep this going, but if you hermit in or turtle in, it's things are really going to shut down fast for you.
Well, and
It is
that's
so
a
much.
natural inclination of people when they're faced with fear and turmoil, is to just shut down and to be petrified. And right now, you kind of have to go against the grain of your own desire and to kind of make these. You know, feel the doubts, fears, anxieties. Feel them, because we all are. But make that decision to kind of work on it instead of being in it. Right.
Yes.
And there's 3 ways to make money in business. 1 is to up your prices, what Julie was talking about. 2 is to gain new clients. And 3 is to offer more service to your pre-existing clients.
Exactly. Your pre-existing clients will bring you far more money than trying to bring in new leads all of the time, especially when you can offer them a service you maybe did not think of offering previously, or even a refresh service of some sort. They're going to be hunkered down right now, but a week from now, they're not. I can guarantee you this, that we don't naturally hermit well, except for introverts like me who hermit very well. But
or have a nice, I love it out here. I'm in my little ranch here, and it's just about really, really bucking up our garden this year too. We're being serious because you guys watched the press release today. They asked when can we expect to be through the worst of this, and they said July, August is their best guess.
Is that what they said?
That's their best guess.
So my client who was a nurse who's just been asked to come back into nursing, and she's not sure she wants to do it because they can't provide the personal protective equipment. Scary. But she said that they're all talking, it's at least a 2-month process through here. But there are a lot of people, I want you all to hear this deeply. There are a lot of people who will continue to get paid through this, who've been told by their companies to work from home. My husband is one. He fought with his company. They're paying people. Thank God they are. Like, there's some compassion and kindness coming down the road here that is so good to see. But people and their dogs are going to probably need to cultivate a different relationship than they have cultivated before. And who better than to teach that and to guide that and support that than you? Every one of you in your local area.
That's what we're here to do, and that's what people. That's what you've traded your life to do, is to work with dogs and to help people
100%.
Understand them better. And now is the time that we're going to see a unique need come out of this situation, and something that we can be thankful for. You know, once the nicer weather starts, thinking about offering extended dog walking and hiking. That's what they say.
I don't know where you live, but I would get out in the snow or whatever in some boots and tell people what to wear and do it now.
Might steal that 1 week idea. Excellent. Please do. And if anybody has any ideas, let us know. I mean, we're all here to, as a kind of a brain trust, to cooperate, and whatever's working for you. What I'm going to do for my clients, and just like I said to Sherry, I am right here. Like I'm freaked out because of the loss, like poof, immediately, you know, and it was just like, we would just get these calls and it's like, oh, they just canceled. And then right after, oh, they just canceled. Oh, they just, what is going on? And then next month I've already gotten people calling and just be like, I can't really do it.
They're
but what I'm going to do
for next month.
It's going to offer just a weekly overnight for, let your dogs come to my place here. I'm unique that I have my own little park here.
Great idea.
And a little steam vent. Let your dog run it out.
It's spa night at the farm. Call it the thing that you don't want to call it, people. Dog trainers or what did somebody say? I've got to find.
Send your fur babies with me.
I don't. Yeah, you don't have to say that. But I was on this call earlier, and they quoted Joe Polish, who's an incredibly brilliant marketer. He used to have a carpet cleaning business, and he says business owners are notorious for not eating their own dog food. And I was like, I love it. I love that. Love it. So who are you selling to? Who are your people? Get out of your own mind on whether you would buy something or not. You obviously wouldn't, because you went and learned it and are selling it. So you have to put yourself into if you can, the feet, the socks, the dirty shoes, the stance, the position, the mindset of the people who are going to be buying from you. You do not have to call them fur babies, but you might want to offer a damn spa night at your resort ranch. I don't know what. I love that idea, Bill. There's so much.
I mean, if I charge
so much
$50, $50, just to take their dog for an
Mhm.
overnight really quick, or even 65, $70 if I pick them up.
Yeah.
And then,
And there's things that you can help them feel comfortable about. Like we're in the industry where we are, we're often receiving a dog in for daycare and then sending them home, and we just take a leash and walk to the back. Right now, we're not recommending anything like that. We're recommending a slip lead where we put the slip lead on the dog. We don't touch the person. We don't touch the dog. Slip lead the dog. The people take the collar and the leash back. So we're like bringing down the possibility of fomites, which are basic little boogers getting onto you, right? And then doing literally a wipe down of the dog with a soapy towel or a dry, what do you call it? A waterless shampoo thing, just to make sure that, just to make sure that there's no contamination, either cross-contamination.
Yep.
But if you tell people that you're doing that, it brings their fear and panic level down. And they feel as if you're honoring what's going on right now.
Yes.
No matter what your beliefs or opinions are of it, it doesn't matter what yours are. It matters what theirs are. And so this is a really huge opportunity to learn how other people think and to market to them in a way that will help them get some of their needs met in a different way than you've probably. Some people are so funny. Cleanliness is next to dogliness. I love it.
When I dropped off a dog here recently, I left him tethered, and I left him tethered by and right in the foyer, the front foyer. And I just texted the clients, I'll see you next time, and just letting them know at least traffic is good, because nobody's out in it,
Right.
Just always trying to focus on the positives, but
right.
By addressing it too, you're kind of saying, hey, look, we got this taken care of.
Yes, you want to help bring their fears down while offering them support, however that looks in your business. And it may be like a lot. So we've got emails going out to, like, my clients have all got emails going out to their client base. It may take more than one email. It may take the same email. Like, if you can check your open rates, if you can see if someone opened it or not, if they didn't, send another one with a different subject line. And maybe change the words up and test it out. And this is also super great practice to start marketing through your email list. So Maylee had said somewhere really great. We have so much we can work on at this time, as you see it. Absolutely. Like, I'm telling all my people, like, I don't care if you have an employee or not. This is a great time to create some SOPs, standard operating procedures on how you do things. Business owners hate them. It's like watching paint dry. But what if
But now you have time. You have time to work on it. Yeah.
What if you, in 2 months, had clients coming out the wazoo? All of a sudden, economy's coming back. We don't do well in a tanked economy in the United States of America. We don't like it. We will do anything. We're like entrepreneurial at the core in this country. Right. We drive other countries nuts. That's okay. People are going to want to get back out. They're going to want their dogs trained. They're going to travel. Some people are saying this will go on to next year. I don't know. I bet you anything in 2 months. I don't bet you anything. I bet you some things in 2 months. in 2 months that, am I still frozen? Michelle said, yeah, don't spray Lysol in anyone's face. There's some great comments.
I don't know if you're frozen or not.
People are really going to be coming out of their ears and realize their dog really needs training. Or they're going to, they're going to go get a new puppy because they need some extra love and it's time to panic, and they're going to be like, oh my
God. Yeah, their dog's going to bite them.
Oh my God, give me. So Kelly Parker, I see you just fenced in a huge area, can offer hiking, socializing. How can you sell that to potential clients since you moved to new areas? You know exactly what I'm going to say, Miss Kelly. I'm going to say, get out to the vets, go put signs up, go walk your dog with a dog in training shirt on it. Put your dog trainer sweatshirt on. It says in the back, dog trainer, Nobody cares about your logo, even though your logo is the best thing ever. Let them know who you are and what you do. And yell at people across the road. And I'm joking, but because you're not going to really be seeing a lot of people, but people are still going to be taking their dogs to the vets.
Yeah.
This is a perfect time to cultivate or recultivate great relationships with your vets. And you can do that through the mail right now if you don't want to go in. If you've already have a round where you go to them regularly, then just keep emailing them some information, email them success stories, case studies, testimonials. This is where proof that you know what you're doing. This is a time when if you don't want to be seen publicly or via email or be, beating your own chest, I'm going to have to step into a different persona and beat your own chest. I've become better at it. It's the last thing I want to do. If you look at archetypes of personality, the celebrity archetype is my lowest one. I have no interest in going out there in public and doing this stuff. But the more I do it, the more fun I'm having.
Yeah. Well, you start to realize strengths that you didn't know were there. Just like you don't know what you don't know until you know it. But it's also knowledge through experience. And a lot of times the mystery of doing it, and then once you're in the middle of it, you're like, wow, this is actually pretty fun.
Yeah, right. It's a very different experience of the world. Larry Crone said, I had to stop wearing my shirt that says a dog trainer on the back. It works too good. So if you're not wearing your shirt that says dog trainer, order them and start wearing them.
Yep.
Even if you're walking your dog through your empty neighborhood, people are bored. They're going to peeking out their little things, see what's going on.
As dog trainer, and they have these boxes. We all have these boxes that are in our pocket, and they see that sign. They say a dog trainer. They type it into Google, and boom, they've just captured you. And just like what we're talking about capturing, gathering your emails, and marketing to these people. And there's a thing called a drip campaign where we can drip, just little messages that say, hey, we're here. This is what we're doing. You're welcome to join us.
Yes. And I would recommend also in those drip campaigns, since you're all going to be doing Facebook Lives right now, right? Yes, I'd say yes.
I will be.
Me too. I'm actually committing 100%. I mean, you all have to hold me accountable. This is my biggest
committing on a Facebook Live
on
to
a
do
Facebook
more
Live
Facebook Lives.
I don't know how many people, but so in your drip campaign that you create, you can do them for free in MailChimp. If you have no money, you can do this in MailChimp. If you do not have your database in a database, freaking put it in MailChimp.
Maybe we should put that in the notes, the MailChimp.
Yeah, I'll put it.
What we'll do is so we'll have some notes here, and I'm going to put it in the comments. I'm just going to put a link to it in the comments.
Okay, I'll make some notes. Bill, maybe after this, you can remind me some of the things, and I'll just make very generalized notes and put that up.
Well, and you have a summit coming up too, where
I do.
If you like what Sherry's saying, she's going to be talking to various experts in the next week and a half. She's already had interviews lined up. Yep. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks.
Yeah, it is. There's so much information that has to be out there, and I'm just going to be frank, or Sherry here. There's some other well-known group that's putting out some information, but the details of the information that they're putting out are not correct. And I'm not beating my own chest, but I am a detail nerd. I will research
the details.
The devil is in the details. What people are thinking that a state has declared a disaster, and it hasn't. They've declared an emergency, and the government doesn't recognize it unless it's a freaking disaster for certain parts of the legislation that they're trying to create right now. And so I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I just say I pick up on details like crazy. I notice all of them, and I drive people nuts with them. But the information we're going to be putting out is as up to date, as factual, and as detailed as possible, so that people have some steps to take going forward that are full of hope rather than full of despair.
That's right.
So, Adrian, awesome. Hi, honey. You've got an idea for a 21-day puppy protocol.
I need to scroll all the way down here. Okay.
Yeah, all the way down, inline Facebook group type thing. I think it's a fabulous idea.
Absolutely.
Do as many of these kinds of things as you can. You'll get clients signing up for every one of them.
Yep.
Don't package them. So this call I just got off of with these 8-figure guys, I was so honored. Like, sounds like really stupid, but I was like, damn, I'm on this thing. Wow.
Deca millionaires. +10 million dollars.
Louise, I was like, and they were so lovely, but they said, niche it down. I don't care what you're doing. Take
Say
your
that
niche
again. Niche.
and niche it down.
So when you try to be everything to everybody, you end up being nothing to nobody, and that's what people just try to like blow it out where it needs to be niched,
super narrow. And so Adrian's idea of that would be a paid group, 21-day puppy protocol. A paid group. So that's that niche, and that will then promote more puppy stuff. And people pay for puppy stuff. And once they've done puppy stuff with you, they never leave you.
Yeah.
Never. They'll come back to you forever for more training, because now that puppy's 10 months old. Now that puppy's 18 months old. You all know this drill. They're like, oh, what happened to my puppy? Well, the puppy became a dog. And so, yeah. But anyway, they don't know that. And so we have to help them. So, and then they want to do boarding. And I mean, I sold, I think, 7 boarding trains to the same family once, to the same dog.
You listen to this, man. I have a family that has Skookums. And so and the whole family, they named the dog Skookum. And so I have Skookum the 6th. I have Skookum the 3rd. I have Skookum, like, it's crazy, but I get all of them. And that's
all
it.
The Skookums.
All of them. I'm like, which one is this? And they're like, oh, guess what's coming? I'm like, what? And they're like, Skookum the 7th. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Who would have known?
Who would have
known? People are
known?
so awesome, man. And that's it. It's like the variety that people are. I mean, it should be celebrated. And I mean, it's something I think that we as dog trainers, like what you're saying, is that this, I think, is a kind of a reality smacking us in the face of like, look, man, you kind of need to not think you know it all, and try to think and try to force people into, your perception of things. Instead, by proxy, try to see the world through their eyes and what's making them and incentivizing 100%. Them to hire you and to utilize you as your services.
And one of the great things, I didn't think about this until right now, thank you, Bill. One of the great things you can do when you have your email database, if you don't have it, you will. And those who already do, is survey your client base. You can do a free Google form, and it'll return all of the answers to you in a Google Sheet. But you can ask sort of open-ended questions, and then you've got, so this is gold. Now you've done copy research. Now you've done research on what language they use, like where their pain points are, what they're going through in their language, not yours, because we tend to talk over people's heads. Yes. Because we're like unconsciously competent. We know what we forgot that we know what we know. We just know it so well. But they're unconsciously incompetent. They do not know what they don't know. And so when we talk to them from our level, it is completely the wrong level. So if you did a survey out to your client base on what they're going through, how they're feeling through this, you'd be amazed. People will talk to you, and then you can create some program or ideas around what they've fed back to you. Right? What they're actually going through. And this gives you literally what we would call copy nuggets for your copy for your emails, things that you can talk about on Facebook Lives, subject lines. You got to promote your Facebook Live with a subject line. Like Bill's subject line was like, I don't know, surviving through a recession, right? Or something.
Well, I mean, the name of the live is Talk Dog, like all of them. But yeah, recession proofing your business. Yes, recession proofing your business. And so we're in reactive phase right now, not proactive. But if you can think of this as being proactive for the rest of your business, that's what this time is. There's an opportunity for this. These are the times when fortunes are made. You better believe it. Never let a good opportunity go to waste. These are don't put your head in the sand. Time. Please don't put your head in the sand. Stand up and be proud. And you know what they say, when you feel the fear and you do it anyway, that's what we call courage. Yes. And I want to encourage you. Love it. Whoever's watching this, that you can do this. And once we get to the other side of this, and I look forward to watching this in a year or two, once we're on the other side of this, and to look back. And they say hindsight is 20/20, and we're in the the year 2020. So
Oh, this is great. You got the wordsmithing down. I love it.
yeah,
This is so
wordsmithing,
good.
that's the copy. Copy sells, man. I mean, Got
Copy
Milk,
sells.
look at the Got Milk ad, and look at all these things that Nike, just
Yep.
do it,
Yep.
and that's something that they put their whole brand behind.
Yep.
So Judith says, hey, I had a couple of cancellations for Sunday class, but with a small group, it's still easier. I'm focusing more on private sessions to do here at our camp when it's not raining. A lot of calls to make. My Wednesday has only 3 dogs, but I'm still running the course. Hopefully it'll be better in 2 months. Yes.
So excellent, Judith. So what I'd recommend is exactly what I've said already. I would actually recommend, a Facebook Live. Hey, we're just getting ready to start our group class. Look at these courageous souls who've come out. We're going to have so much fun with their dogs. And then, I don't know, in the middle of your class, go live again. Hey, look what they're learning. Get ready. We're going to offer another one next week. Just message us here.
Yep.
Da, 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 da. You have to remember another thing I talked to all of my clients about, because I had to learn this. I did not create this idea. You have to tell people what to do. It's so weird.
So give me an
message
example.
us here. So calls to action. It's like on a website. Like, why do you have to have 5 submit things, or book your blah, blah now, book your blah, blah now? But why do you have to have that? Because you have to tell people what to do, and they scroll past the first one. So it's same thing in a Facebook Live. Join us next week. Make sure you join us next week. Make sure you don't miss out. Message us here on our Facebook page. If you've got my private Facebook, you might not want that, but whatever, message you somewhere, text at the business text number, phone number, whatever. Tell them what you want them to do. It works like a charm. It is called a call to action.
And it's like holding their hand too. And that's what people need. They like that, just
they do. They are, I think I started to say this, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. The craving leadership. People on a normal day, in a normal economy with normal things happening, are craving leadership. You all teach leadership every single day in your work with the dogs and the people. It is time to step into a different sort of leadership with this.
Well, that's what I think. What Larry's comment here just that strikes what you're just saying. I think a lot of good will come out of this, teaching us all an important lesson in preparation as well. I mean, because we're in the thick of it, and we also have less social programs than other developed nations. That doesn't help. We have to become entrepreneurs in order to survive. Remember, desperation is the mother of invention. And
absolutely,
desperation and necessity are both the mother of inventions. And I'm curious to see what businesses pop out of this. What Ubers, what exponential organizations see the opportunity and step in to fill that void.
Yep.
And that's what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And Linda, that comment just gave me an idea. So we do have very few social programs compared to many other countries, although I have a feeling private industry is going to step in and provide some stuff. I think that finally our government may be getting the idea that we actually have to have a safety net. I don't know. We're not going to go into politics right now. I don't actually have a party, but that's beside the point. But I'm lost. There is no party. But my point, the idea that I had was you could offer some, so you can figure out what's most needed in your community right now, whatever that is, and do some Facebook Lives around it, or in your group, or whatever you've got gathered, email saying, we're going to be gathering this for these people. Whoever wants to show up, like donate it here, and then we're going to say the fan club of blah, blah business or whatever are donating this. Like all of the great fans of this. I guess my friend in Florida who runs a charter school for migrant children in outside of Tampa. It's a highly rated school. They're doing so good. So they've canceled school, right? And they're on spring break anyway. How do these kids get food? Well, there's no transport to the school really. So what they're like, okay, they got the food gathered. They've taken all the money for the school lunches and the school breakfast, and they put them into gathering other kinds of food. They're going to take them to the houses. How do you take it to the houses? You have to have a bag. So I was talking to her. I'm like, okay, how do we get a bag? And she said they have spent hours going around to all the grocery stores. Nobody will donate a paper bag to them. So I went on to Uline, and I'm like, I love Uline. I used to order stuff from there all the time. I love Uline's great. So I went on to Uline, and I'm like, you can't order the 17-inch high bags because New York State's plastic bag ban. All of the 17-inch tall paper grocery bags are demarcated or whatever for New York, but you can order the 14-inch tall ones. So I put a little note out to some people. We gathered a little bit of money and we've shipped them 1,500 grocery bags. So I'm not saying that to beat my chest, but I just thought you could do that. There's nothing wrong with telling your community you're doing something like that, like sending out an email saying what are the needs, how can we help, and then putting a note out to all of your followers, all of your people. People want to help.
Yes.
But they need somebody to lead it. They need somebody to lead this action. And if your business, this sounds selfish, and boy, does this sound American, but let's just gain some notoriety in a positive way by doing this. And there's nothing wrong
well
with that.
By doing good.
Yes, 100%. So Kelly Parker said, how do you create interest in going live? Okay.
You're on these questions, man. I'm like,
well, I'm super visual on the written word. And I notice details. So you create engagement by saying, we're going, I put a thing on my thing yesterday, today, and then again today. I did it 3 times. It's repetitive. Yes. And most people hate repeating themselves. You have to repeat yourself because the engagement time is like that little, very little. You have to keep it in the feed. So you tell them you're going live, what the subject's going to be. You remind them you're going live, what the subject's going to be. You remind them again what the subject's going to be. Then you go live and you actually talk about the subject. You don't fake it like you forgot the subject, and you keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then you will start to go into the feed more often. So you can have as many followers as you have and no engagement because your information actually isn't getting to them. Facebook is throttling it because nobody's engaged.
But Facebook loves lives. Facebook loves lives, and the algorithm loves the lives. Yep. And that's what started me doing these lives, honestly, is that I saw an article that said Facebook is transitioning their algorithm to a video model where they want more videos and they're doing the live stream. And so then I was like, and they want somebody that puts out content once a week. And so that's what my goal was once a week to do a live.
Wow.
And guess what? I've shown you some of my impressions and some of the people that I reached, hundreds of thousands of people I've reached with just doing this stuff. And the other thing is that I am real. I respect and love you, Sherry, and I the people that I have on.
Feeling is mutual.
Don't mind us. But that's it, man, is that I do have a passion, and the people that I introduce the world or my followers to, I really want them to know them, and I want to get to know them. And that's it, man, is that if you're not used to doing this, the best way to do it is to just do it. And I go back and I look at my previous lives, and they don't look anything like they do now, but I'm so happy I did them.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's one of those things, like this is my old kryptonite personally, but at the end of the day, people don't care what your background is. You should see some of the backgrounds that people are doing lives on. They don't care what you look like. They can feel your heart.
And your authenticity.
And they know you're authentic, Bill. They know your heart, and they are just going to keep following you. And this is for everybody. It's more comfortable for me to do it through the written word or the typed word, but I have to get out of my own shell and do this because why? Because of what Bill just said. That algorithm favors lives. So let's just have a business reason for doing this.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. And it can be a business reason, but it can also be sort of a give back reason. It can be create a community reason. Well, hello, plot hound. It can be for so many reasons, but it needs to be a connection reason as well. So right now, people are going to be isolated in their homes. They're not used to being isolated in their homes. And my husband, when he first started, we moved to Reno, he was the only person that I ever met who actually went to work because there were people there.
Yeah.
Like, he's an engineer. I'm like, dude, you're weird. Like, I think he talked all day long. So he moved here and he was working remotely. And this is, I'm relating this to what's going to happen to everybody right now. He was miserable, not going to work and talking to people. And so he's more common than the people who want to hide away. So there's a lot of people who are used to a routine right now who are going to go into almost depression because they don't know what to do about this. You have an opportunity to help them move out of that. How? Through their dogs.
Well, and not only that, but they also
Yeah.
have a transmutation of passions that this sports, man.
Mm-hmm.
All these sports are not here
Mm-hmm.
this year. There's a huge void
Yes, a
in our
huge void.
society, and it's a very interesting time.
Mm.
But that's another aspect of this is um, that relationship that they have with that sports team, that relationship that they've had with their colleagues,
Right.
that the family, all that stuff
Yes.
is kind of going away for a little bit, but it's
Yes.
still that
They,
longing
they
is
don't
still
know what to
there
do
to
with
connect.
themselves. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I'm going to go, yeah, that longing to connect is a super big piece, y'all. If you can connect into that through them, through their dogs, you're going to sail out of this like you can't even believe. Adrian has a question. If you have a portion of the proceeds for this online program we'll go to, do you tell, yes, you tell them everything and tell them what you
Be honest.
be honest. Tell them who your, I don't know what a POC is in this case, but how do you announce that? You just tell them.
Person of color.
I know, that's what I thought. I'm like, what?
That's what, let me see. I don't know, where is it at now.
Um,
Oh, I have I have parties every day. Damn right you
I
do,
love it.
Linda.
I
You
love
are a
it.
party. I like the next one. You are a party.
Yeah, so definitely. Oh, Linda had already answered that question. Sorry, but yes, tell them. So this is part of the being transparent part, and then it would be very important to go back and tell them how much you donated. So I left Japan in 2000. In the end of 1999, I had a garage sale in Japan. Nobody knows what a garage sale is in Japan. I did an American style garage sale, put like flyers up on telephone poles. People thought it was just, oh my God, it was so crazy. I had 1,000 people show up, and the proceeds, I can't remember what was going on, but there was some disaster that needed to be funded. It was first aid related. This is pre-social media. I brought some Red Cross, which I don't actually want to donate to right now, but at the time I didn't know better. Anyway, I brought a representative in. They met everybody, and then I told the main influencer, I'm like, where's my finger? I told the main influencer at this one guy who had a big mouth. He knew everybody. I told him exactly how much we made and how much we donated. I did not hear the end of it for 5 years, and I had left Japan in 2000. People found a way to contact me and ask me how I had done that. So there is something about giving back, being transparent about it, and being transparent about the amount of money that is very much touching in people's hearts.
You better believe it. And not only that, but stand next to that proud, because without
Very
you
proudly.
doing it, they wouldn't have that.
That's right.
And
That's
I think
right.
that is admirable.
And you can lead them into feeling better about what they're doing with their life when people are giving back and they have more connection.
And that's exactly what we were talking about, the longing that people have for
connection. Yeah.
That's right. So many places are giving away free material to help get the kids' boredom stopped.
Yes.
Is developing an online program for Facebook Live in a group something people will really be willing to pay for?
Yes, $20 a month right now. I think she's got 25 people in it, my client.
Yeah.
Why? So you can do it for free and touch more people, but you can do it for a small amount and touch probably a smaller number of people more deeply. But you can do some pieces for free, not all the how-tos, but the sort of the basic how-tos for free to get people into the thing. So there is more value to it, to them, for the perceived value for the human brain, the way that the psychology works. There's more value to it when they're paying something. If you want to take a portion of that $20, you can use whatever amount of money, but not everybody, but a lot of people have $20. You can take a portion of that and give it away if you want.
Well, and I think that giving it away is, excuse me, is smart, but it's also, don't forget to charge people. And like what you were saying about, if you don't charge them, sometimes, unless it's a gift, unless you're giving somebody like, this is a present, this is a gift, this is something from me, from my heart to your heart. If you don't charge them, then it's worth a lot of times in their mind exactly what they paid for it. Nothing.
That's right. That's right. I talk a lot about a study that was done in the 80s in Japan. Some of you may have heard me talk about this before, but there's a very well-known cosmetics brand over there called Shiseido, and they had a recession in the mid 80s, and they dropped their prices on all of their cosmetics products, and their sales tanked. And they brought in an American consulting company, of course, because Americans, Americans all about the money.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Dollar bill. So brought in an American consulting firm. The firm said, no, you have to raise your prices higher than they were before. And they're like, oh no, we can't do that. They're like, yes, if you're paid us a lot of money, trust us. So they did it, and they had record numbers because all of a sudden, so the brand was known. They brought their prices down. People thought, what's wrong with it? Did they use lower quality materials? I don't want that stuff touching my face. Yeah. Stopped buying it, put the price up. It's the same exact product, sold out.
That's right.
It's a famous story in Japan. And I just I don't even
know about a barber in New York City who was crazy clientele, and she charged $100 a haircut, and she was just like, you know what, I'm going to charge $1,000, and her clientele like quadrupled. Like it was something that like she became this I don't know, this.
I love it.
What do you call it when it's something special that people actually want, and it's
it's limited.
It's a luxury. It's limited, but I don't know what word. If I think about it, I'll say it. But I mean, it's people's psychology is freaking crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. Barbara DeGroot. A great idea, Barbara. Your idea. Start a quarantine special of enrichment toys for dogs, since some people aren't even going to walk their dogs. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can create an enrichment package, $25. Like make sure you make profit on it. $25. They call you, text you, whatever, say they want to buy it. You put it outside. They come pick it up. Make sure nobody's gonna steal it, but whatever. They come pick it up. Then you bring them into your enrichment group. $20 a month. They already have some of the toys. If they're like, I can't make that thing called the thing, then make it for them and sell it to them, and they will come by your place and pick it up.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to spin this too. I mean, even partnering with the toys and the toy companies that aren't selling, and joint ventures that you can do with those people.
Oh yes, affiliating. Oh my gosh, I've got a whole thing I want to teach on that. Big time. Affiliating. Yeah. You can affiliate through Chewy. You can affiliate through BarkBox. Don't be afraid to do stuff like that.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask. Remember that the question or the answer is always no unless you ask.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was talking to Adrian Little about this because I'm shopping. I have some issues going on with my back, and I need an MRI. And I'm shopping. I'm negotiating with the hospital. I got them down to $1,000. I want it for $800 for the MRI.
Come to Reno at $750. You can stay with us.
I might. But Adrian was like, I had no clue I could do that. I had no clue that I could negotiate my prices. And I'm like, oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. And that's when I told her, I was like, the answer is always no unless you ask. Yes. And, anytime that I have a fee that's dropped on me, anytime that I have, even if it's a late fee or a business, a financial surcharge or whatever, my first question is, can you waive that? Can that be waived? Yes. Can we take care of that? And more times than not, they're like, sure.
Yes. Such a good point. You can have almost anything made into a payment plan. You have to, you cannot get that happen. You cannot make that happen until you ask, though.
Well, even now, if you have something that is too much, call your banker, call them up and be like, hey, can we negotiate this? This is what's going on in my life.
Oh, I was going to say, for people who have, I think Michelle Lennon said, what were the other two things? I don't remember, but I'll just say one was see if you can negotiate bank interest rates or bank stuff down, or a line of credit that they never would have given you before, but they're going to have to now for you to keep paying your rent so you don't default.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she also affiliates through Chewy and Amazon. Absolutely.
You can negotiate groceries even.
You can. Oh, that's interesting.
I do that. I'll find somebody. Dude, I got a nail gun at Home Depot for $70. It was $360. Okay, and it was a floor model. Oh yeah. So I called the manager over, and then I said, "Hey, look, I'll give you $100 for this." it's got a couple scratches here. And then I said, just pull it out for me. And she was like, I was like, can you approve that for me? And she's like, absolutely. And then so $100, and then guess what she does? She walks over to me and gives me a 30% coupon. And I'm like,
She's
no
so glad
way.
you took that thing off the floor for her.
I guess so, man. But I still have it. It was a Porter Cable nail gun. It's a very nice nail gun.
And you probably also created a connection with that person.
Yes. Rapport is power,
yes.
folks. Rapport is power. When you look at somebody, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at them in the eye. I really genuinely care how they're doing. I want to, you know, and I'm a humanitarian, man. I love connecting with people.
Yeah. My friend Mike Kemsky, he's a great guy on Facebook. Kemski. Mike's just a solid human. But he was at one of the stores, I don't know, name the store, looking for toilet paper. They had no toilet paper. So, and there was a guy at the end of an aisle, not that aisle, but the next aisle over, and he started talking to him, and his English wasn't very good, the other guy. And so he's like, what's your language? And the guy said Spanish. So he's like, well, my Spanish is terrible, but I'm going to try. And the guy, so he tried to speak some Spanish with him. The guy was thrilled, and he's like, just a minute. And he went in the back and got him a thing of toilet paper. He didn't even ask. Because
imagine how you feel,
rapport.
Yeah. Imagine how you feel if somebody that doesn't live here and they're really trying to communicate with you in your language. You know, you're going to lean down. You're going to, help them out. You're going to be like, hey, look, let's figure this out together in a way that's open and real communication. You know, instead of ulterior motives, instead of, what's this guy trying to sell me, and you can see those people from 1,000 miles away. And the other thing that you can see from 1,000 miles away are people that are hungry and then people that are desperate. And that's the other thing that's very important about working on your business instead of continually working in it. Oh my
gosh, I could preach that one all day long. Just don't get me going. Yeah.
It's like, please, and it's, where it's.
Well, there was something that the guys on that call, they weren't all guys, there were some women too. A lady owns a holster company for women, but she sells to government contracts only. It's fabulous. Anyway, multi-millionaire based on gun holsters to government contracts. There's so many ways to make money, y'all. But what was the point? What did you just say? I'm like,
I don't know. I forgot.
Oh, dang it. I forgot. If I could remember what it was, what would it be?
What was I talking about? Gotta love getting older, but we were talking about negotiating. We were talking about.
I was thinking something you said reminded me of something they said, but.
I have to go brain dump while I have my juju.
Yeah. This is, I don't know. It's an unprecedented time. We have to control how we respond to it, if at all possible. Yes, we can go cry in the corner. Absolutely. Please do. Feel your feelings, but then come out of it. Save your business. Help your people connect better with their dogs. Create connections. The connections you create in this next 6-week, 2-month, 3-month period are going to hold you for the rest of your business life. They will refer people to you forever.
That's right.
And remember, so we've been through odd times before. We've never been through one like this. When I opened my pet care facility, 16,000 square feet thing I wish I'd never done, but it was one of the best things I've actually ever done because I learned everything that now I teach. But in 2008, the economy tanked into 2009. My landlord is a steel fabricator, or was, he still is. My landlord at the time is a steel fabricator. And he had to lay off, he had 50 employees, himself, his brother, and 48 people. He had to lay off 48 people in one day. And I had to go over and have a conversation with him and say, I do not have rent. And he said, oh, I knew you were coming. I'm like, okay. He said, it's okay. Or you still owe it. Pay me what you can, as you can. I couldn't pay him my full rent for 18 months. So this is where, when Bill's saying ask, I had to ask. If I hadn't asked, I would have shut the doors. But by asking and going back, I had to tail tucked go in. He's like, honey, we're having a terrible time. This business has been going since the 50s. This is the first time we've had to lay anybody off ever.
Yeah.
And so I gained the courage. I went and did it. And then after that, that's when success came. It was after that kind of painful spot, but I had to ask for a favor. That was hard.
Yeah.
You can ask for some of these things. If you have rent somewhere and suddenly you can't pay it, ask. They're not going to get anybody else in to rent that place right now.
Yeah.
They're just not. The banks aren't going to they don't want to default on these loans. They'll go out.
And this is a lot different than 2008 too, because
really
2008 we had collapsing of financial markets, liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could happen as a derivative of what's going on here, but it's not the same. Like, this is something that, and I wonder why, or I wonder if this would be an act of God claim.
I don't know. We're having deep talks with some insurance companies about this, and when we can get some answers on what's actually written in these agreements, these insurance agreements, we'll be having that as part of the summit. But I want an insurance representative or broker who represents different companies to come in and show people what some of this stuff means. I mean, you can go back and read. I don't think it's called an act of God yet.
Okay.
That's a disaster, and it hasn't been declared a disaster except, I believe, in Texas. So
we were talking about working on your business versus in it. Does that strike anything with
yes. Thank you. You guys are so what these guys said on that call, gals and guys, I call everybody guys, which is really bad, but whatever. The people who will be most successful in a business, this is going to sound strange, are not operators.
Okay.
They are visionaries and leaders, and they hire operators. I was like, oh, dang.
I got it. I mean, I think by trying to, just like, to niche it down, you need to niche down that you are the visionary. And because once you start to go in and operate it, sometimes you muck up things.
That's when you get burnt out and overwhelmed, and you're in it, you're in the muck. When you start to learn how to lead it and bring in people who can help operate it, and to let go some of the tendency towards desiring perfection. Like, if we're looking at 85%, like, this is a whole separate conversation, and not what you're going to be doing right now, but I'm talking 6 months, 9 months, 12 months out, because the seeds you're going to plant now are going to grow your businesses, and you're going to want to probably bring some people in.
Well, that's where the SOP comes in. That's where, like, right now, working on your standard operating procedures.
That's right.
And just like we talked about, so immediately, like, first thing is to talk to your creditors, go to the banks, go to whatever, just tell them your situation. Second thing would be
talk to all of them.
Reach out to your clientele. And if you don't have a means to capture their information, start to build that. And if it's just with a Facebook group or something like that, what information would you say? The email? I mean, the Facebook just profile, being able to message or have somebody on Facebook's good. But we also have email and text
diversify.
messages.
People are really reliant on Facebook and Instagram right now. Some are relying on TikTok. That's a thing I don't want to go down. But that's not diversity. It's like what was happened now. If you had mostly a boarding business, boy howdy, you're hurting. So there has to be some diversification within the niche, right? But email. So if you're relying only on Facebook, that could possibly not be safe down the road. You don't know. I mean, who knows what rules they're going to change when they just change them, and you are off. You are on the hook. Yeah. So you want to have diversification in your list, in your ways to be able to communicate with your people. And Facebook owns Instagram, so you can't rely on that either. So an email list can be worth gold.
Well, I mean, they sell these lists for gold, and not only that, but this is because now we're on different platforms, even when we're on Zuckerberg's platform right now, live streaming to you, and then same with YouTube, and same with Instagram, and to keep people and allow it to be on your platform is the end result here, because now you're relying on Zuckerberg.
That's right.
You don't want to do that.
Well, you don't know when he's going to, he doesn't, I mean, you don't know when their team is going to change something. It's like with Google and their algorithm, the ads, you don't know when they're going to change something. Another thing. I have if you don't have your Google My Business listing optimized, you may be seeing in your feed an ad from a guy named Sean Joshi, SHAWN, Joshi, JOSHI. He has a $79 I've been asking for him to send me an affiliate link. He says, I'll have it soon. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I get nothing from recommending this other than the pleasure of knowing that you have a fully optimized Google My Business listing more deeply than you can ever imagine it being listed. He gives you all of the pointers. I bought it. I told my clients about it, and many of them have bought it. I don't know how many have implemented, but I've implemented this with one client already, and we're already seeing it. No, three private clients. We're already seeing a difference.
Good.
And so your Google My Business listing and asking for recommendations. If you haven't been asking for reviews on a regular basis, just go do it. Bug them until they give you a review. Give them a credit for something, for a hike or four. I don't know.
So who reviews the listing? Google does, or
no?
Sean,
Google. Sorry, I went all over the place with that.
Sean,
your map listing on Google
okay.
is called your Google My Business listing. Google GMB. And people do Google reviews of businesses there. That listing, you don't even have to make public your address if you don't want to. But there are ways to optimize this, even if your address isn't made public. And Sean Joshi has a $79, if you can spare $79. It is it's so simple. It's a fabulous little online SHAWNJOSHI. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna just put it in the comments.
It's a super simple. It's a great example of how to do an online program without a bunch of boo. I mean, boy, I don't know how he's done it, but it's super simple. Lesson 1, here's a bunch of words. Do this, do this, do this. Lesson 2, now go do this, do this, do this. Lesson 3, now that you've done that, it's probably the best $79 I've spent because I can help my clients. But what if you guys went and helped your own business?
Yeah.
This is prep time. It is preparation for your successful future. I'm sure many of you already have successful businesses. You may be taking a hit right now. Many of you may not have already successful businesses. It doesn't matter. This is preparation time for an even more successful business.
What about any thoughts on saving? Any financial counselors, anything like that? Do you have people that you? I like Dave Ramsey. That's my.
Love Dave Ramsey.
I'm a debt-free guy, and I tell you what, man, like being debt-free. Mm-hmm. Like it just makes this a little bit easier to handle, even though I'm freaking out. No one's seen my business go away. Yeah. I don't have the I don't know, the urgency of where's my next dollar coming from. I can kind of sit back and relax.
Recommend, Dave Ramsey. Like right now, it's not too late, but it is. I'm not going to say it's too late for anybody. There's always opportunity in everything. It is not too late to start planning for that kind of stuff for your future, even though it may seem incomprehensible right now. Yeah.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, right?
That's for sure.
Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching. And, you know, just like we can drive from New York City to LA at nighttime without seeing the whole trip. We just see the 10 feet in front of us with our headlights, and we're still going to make it there.
Still going to make it.
You know, keep your eye on the big prize, but also set little goals that are going to show you that you're making progress.
Yeah, absolutely. And go ahead, Bill.
I just say know that there's people like Sherry out here that play at helping other people succeed. And that's why I thought of you immediately when I was like, I got to talk to Sherry. We got to see what we can do. How do people join your summit? How do they sign up for
I mean, it is very nebulous right now. It's not going to be a proper online summit at all. It's going to be a series of Facebook Lives like this that we record and have available for people to watch later. And so just follow me on Facebook if you're not already. And pay attention a little bit. I will have a wait list people can opt into if they want, so they can get notified by email, because I walk my talk. I believe in building an email list. And so, but you don't have to opt in for that. And if you opt in and want to opt out, you can do that too. I don't.
Well, just see what it feels like. See what it feels like when you go through the process, the customer experience, you know, and that's where what she was talking about earlier is like, don't look at this business through your eyes. look at it through customer experience eyes, and that's where it helps to do A and B tests, split tests. Looks like you got somebody joining you there.
It's probably a delivery, and it's amazing the hound dog did not just bark her head off.
At a girl.
At a girl.
Yeah, there you go. A and B split tests, where you have copy in one and copy in the other, and look at where your clients go to. Because you might think and be married to one, but all your clients are married to the other,
That's right.
And just.
I mean, there's weird tests that show that more people will open an email with a misspelling in it. Like, I'm like, oh, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't want a misspelling in my subject line. But if more people are going to open it, maybe. I'm like,
panic with 2 C's.
Right. But I'm not suggesting doing that, but that's.
I am.
Yeah. Are you? You're like, Bill's like, yeah, do it.
Where's a book? One of my favorite books. Let's see here.
Mm-hmm.
So books, any books that you recommend, because we're going to have time to have a little bit.
My favorite business book, it's not popular right now, but if you haven't read it, is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. His company got sold out, but if you're running your business as an operator right now, which many of you are, which is fine until it's not, it's incredible. I still go back and read pieces of that book. Another one, The One Thing is a great book. What else? There's so many.
This one's a good one.
What is it? There's so many.
There's one, Authenticity. Remember what we were talking about? Authenticity. Yeah. James Gilmore, Joseph Pine, a second.
Yeah, I love it.
Cialdini, The Art of Persuasion.
Cialdini, The Art of Persuasion is brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for now. I just don't. I think it's on another shelf of mine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love John Assaraf. I'm a big fan of his, and that's where you met me, or you heard about me. So I
heard about you. Yeah.
Here's the answer, and it's signed by John and Murray Smith there. And then I also have the other one that I recommend is John's book here. This is what I highly recommend. That's a dirty book, but it's called Inner Size. So when we have exercise, we exercise our body, but he talks about inner size and building your brain.
Beautiful.
And the neuro baggage that we have, we're sometimes not aware of, and we bring that baggage from our normal life into our professional life.
Yeah.
And so Inner Size, I'll put up a link to all these books in the comments, but I definitely recommend that Inner Size book. And I've reached out to John, and hopefully he's going to join me on one of these live streams.
That would be so fabulous.
He's the man.
He's the one with the story of the house on the vision board, and then he bought the house and then looked back when he was unpacking. He was like, oh my God, I bought the house on my vision board. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Never forgotten that story.
Yep, and that's where I saw him too, in The Secret. And I sought him out, and he has been my personal business coach for a few years. A few years ago, but he's changed everything, and it's changing your mind, changing.
It is.
It's not what happens to us, but how we respond to it.
Yes.
And even though we have this crisis and whatever emergency going on, it's up to you how you choose to respond to it.
That's right. You can reframe your perception of anything. Anything.
Yeah, look at Man's Search for Meaning. There's a book.
Oh my gosh.
Victor Frankl.
So good, yes.
And he talks, because he was in the Holocaust. He was at Dachau, and he was at Auschwitz, and in the actual Holocaust, in the homes, and watching people die. And he noticed that once somebody gave up hope, they would be dead within 48 hours. That's
right. That book, my stepson, or my son, he's both, he had to read it for high school, and I'm like, I'm going to reread that again. And we both read it crying together. That was really beautiful. That was a beautiful experience to read with a 16-year-old young man. It just reframes so much.
Yeah. Well, you just see it also has some good shadow work in there too. Just like Carl Jung says, is look at that shadow, and the being enlightened doesn't come from just all the foo-foo love and feeling good. It comes from looking in
comes
the
from doing the
shadow.
work and looking at it. Yep. The shadow has so much to teach us.
And right now is an excellent
Mhm.
opportunity to do some work.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. And I hope if any of you have any questions, just, feel free to message me. I'm happy to give whatever support I can. Not that I don't want my messenger all full, but I'll and I'm not going to give you advice for days because I have private clients and my group clients that I do more of that on. But I want to be a resource for the industry because I know it's just getting hit right and left right now.
Yep, and we're right at the beginning here, folks. We haven't seen the depth of where this is going, and so tap into your network. Your network is your net worth.
That's right.
And know that there's people out here that want to strategize and want to figure this out and want to come out on the other end of this shining and gold. Gold.
Yeah.
And I think that that the way that we all can do this is just not to lose sight.
Yes.
Of who you are, what you do, and why you do it. You help people,
right?
And that's it. And thank you everybody for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hit that share button. I think that this was an excellent conversation. The more people that can hear it, the better. So
I agree. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you just for being the wonderful person you are, Bill. You're a gorgeous human.
You are too,
Thank
Sherry.
you.
I always love seeing you. And then if you hold on for 1 second, I'll say goodbye to you on the other end, but we'll say goodbye to our audience now.
Oops,
and... there it is somewhere. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time. Okay.
Bye.